yeah, definitely time to get into some pedal deep divery. Tonight, I'm going to be taking you on a guided tour through the excellent and wonderful Digitech Polara. This is a super duper cool pedal. I really like it. I've had this one about as long as any other pedal that I have had. So the Digitech Polara, let me blow it up so you can really see the coolness of the face, but also potentially the confusion. This is the first reverb pedal I ever bought, and it is still on my board. It is an extremely simple yet extremely beautiful and effective sounding reverb pedal. You can see that it's got a pretty awesome face on it, both literally and figuratively. The cover art is really cool, but first thing you'll notice is that you cannot read what it says. You just can't. It's really challenging. This is a hard pedal to see on the stage, but that doesn't bother me because when I use it, I really just have it on one setting and leave it on all the time. In fact, I'll show you what my basic reverb sound is in a couple of minutes. So just to show you what there is on here, on the top left you have the level, which is just how much reverb is being heard, how much dry and how much reverb. So that's essentially your mix knob. To the right of that, on the top right, those are all of your different reverb types. So you have all the way at the bottom, starting from counterclockwise going clockwise, you have room, plate, reverse, modulate, hall, halo, and then hall, and then the last one is spring. Now, these reverb types are all really common. The halo one is kind of the cool one of the bunch. I mean, so is the reverse, but the halo one is kind of like the neat ambient one. And some of these are actually Lexicon reverbs. Lexicon is a recording studio standard for excellent quality reverbs, and that really comes across here. And we'll go through all of them. Then you have liveliness, which is essentially the EQ of the reverb itself. I would call that kind of like the highs and lows. It just makes you know, a different level of harmonic excitement. Harmonic meaning you know, which frequencies are being emphasized. And then the decay is how long the reverb lasts for. Really simple. Just mix, type, essentially tone of the reverb, and then decay. So first let me tell you where I kind of leave mine at. It changes based on the venue and the type of music I'm playing, but if I'm playing particularly loud music, I tend to have a little bit more reverb just to give myself a little more presence. I'm not really trying to use it as an effect. I'm more trying to use reverb to give my sound context. Because if you hear me play without it, right, it sounds like this. Now, that sounds very dry, and I wouldn't say stale, but it sounds like you're right there. I'm right in front of you, playing right in front of your face. But when you turn it on to what I usually have it set at, which is this, then you get context. And this will sound like I'm in a medium-sized room, probably, or a hall. So that just gives you a little bit of context. It allows you to kind of sit in the mix with the band a little bit better. So that setting, the level is pretty much right at 12 o'clock. I am actually on the Hall, H-A-L-L, setting. And my liveliness is all the way down, because I like a little darker reverb sound. And the decay is at about 930. So that's where I have my basic reverb sound set. So since we are on Hall, why don't we just explore that a little bit more? So here is Hall, same settings, mix at 50, decay at 930, and then liveliness I'm going to put up to 12 o'clock. First I'll play it where it is at absolute 0, and then I'll turn it up a bit. it certainly makes the reverb much more apparent and in your face just because of the EQ. It's not necessarily louder, it's just the high frequencies are a lot more apparent in its EQ. So that's the liveliness all the way at noon. Now I'm gonna turn it to the max. This is max liveliness on Hall. So there you go. Beautiful sound all the way around. I mean, this Hall reverb really is something quite special. It sounds so warm and organic at all levels of that EQ. So I'm going to take it down now to about, take the liveliness down to about 9 o'clock. And I'm going to turn the decay way up so you can hear, and the mix, or the level. So my level's now at 2, my decay is at noon, and the liveliness is now at 9 o'clock. Just so you can hear a different quality of this Hall and hear it really sing. Really, really great sounding reverb. So that's the Hall setting. Let's start from the bottom now. So I'm going to put the decay at noon so we can really get a good sense of this. And we're going to go through, go put the level back at noon as well. And so what I'll do is I will go through, ooh, hey, how we doing? I will go through all of the different types of reverb on the Polara so that you can hear it. We're going to keep moving the liveliness around so you can hear different qualities. So we're going to start all the way counterclockwise at room. Here's the room reverb with the liveliness at 9 o'clock and the mix at 12 and the decay at 12. So this is a really accurate affectation of being in a small room. I will play it with the reverb off and then on so you can really hear the difference. Beautiful, very nice. So now I'm going to put the liveliness up to 9 o'clock. Still decay and mix are at noon. So you can hear that once you turn the liveliness up, the room becomes more bright. So you really are controlling the brightness or the darkness of the room. I'm going to go back to back to the liveliness at 9 o'clock, and now we're going to check out the plate reverb. This is, I believe, one of the other lexicon reverbs in there. The plate reverb. That's another really warm, pleasant sounding reverb. I'm gonna leave the decay and the liveliness where it is, but I'm gonna turn the mix up so you can really hear the plate reverb. It really sings. Let's hear it with the liveliness up. So now the liveliness is at 3 o'clock. It takes on an interesting kind of edgy quality when you bring the liveliness up with the mix that high. It's pretty interesting and kind of useful. I like that a lot. All right, so now we're going to go to reverse, which is a more challenging one to use. So this is reverse with the decay at noon and the liveliness at 9. And yeah, and the mix at noon. Kind of weird, right? So I'm going to turn the decay all the way up and try and make it sound a little bit more interesting. This is clearly one of the least conventionally useful ones. This will give you a little bit kind of a goofier, avant-garde type of sound, but it can be useful and interesting in the right context. Paired with a delay, it could be very cool. So now let's move on to modulate. This is like a modulated delay where it's just going to modulate the reverb, not your dry sound. So now back to the decay at noon, the liveliness at 9 o'clock, and the level at noon on the modulate setting. So that's interesting. Let's turn the mix up a little bit so we can hear it better. And I'm going to leave the decay a little bit longer as well. You can hear it a little bit better. It sounds almost phaser-ish, what's happening to the reverb. So let me turn the liveliness up to 3 o'clock so you can really hear it. Really cool. This is a really useful reverb when you're thinking about playing in more modern music. Pop and kind of ethereal type of stuff works well too. EDM, this is a great reverb to use. This kind of gives you a different, less organic but really cool quality. Let's go to probably the most interesting one, Halo. This is like the shimmer reverb that you hear about a lot, and essentially it's adding upper octaves. So I've already turned the liveliness all the way up. The decay is a little longer, and the mix is a little higher, just so you can really hear these upper octaves. Again, like a really cool, ethereal, shimmery, beautiful reverb. You can use it in a more conventional context as well, just to give yourself a little extra life to your sound. So I'm turning all 3 knobs to noon, so you can hear how it could be used with a little bit less intensity. It's just a really pretty reverb. It does all kinds of stuff, and you can use your imagination as to where to use it. We've already gone over Hall, so let's go to the very last one, which is Spring. Now, Spring is a digital recreation of an analog spring reverb, which actually uses 1 or 2 or 3 springs, real springs, that the signal passes through, and they shake and oscillate like a spring does, and that causes the reverberation. Really cool. So let's see how this sounds. Spring reverbs are usually characterized by some sort of oscillating rhythm to them, so let's see if this captures that. So I'm gonna turn the decay and the liveliness all the way up, so you can really hear the spring qualities of this reverb. Pretty cool. So let me bring it to a more conventional use setting. So the decay is now at 3 o'clock, the liveliness is at 11, and the mix is at 12 on the spring reverb. Very cool. You can hear that kind of oscillating rhythm in there. So I'm going to go back and just do a couple of examples of the reverb in context, different ways you can use it. Let's go to some Chase Jackson music and try and do some slow pop synthy stuff and see what we can find. I'm going to go to the Halo and find a cool Halo setting for this. So the reverb can really do some cool stuff in a slow synthy pop context. I want to go to a kind of a funky thing and just show you like how effective the reverb can be if you're using it in a subtle way. So I'm going to go to my basic reverb setting here, where I'm on Hall. The decay is at the decay is about 9 o'clock. The liveliness is just above 0, and the mix is at noon. Sounds like this. Just a little bit, nothing too much, and I'm gonna just play something real simple. But I'll start with it off, and then you'll hear how much more appropriate it sounds once it's turned on. So this is with no reverb, and then I'll turn it on and you'll hear the difference. So you should have been able to hear halfway through that when I put the reverb on. The saxophone just kind of sat in a little bit better with the mix. Just kind of enveloped itself a little more instead of just standing out and being this weird, dry sound. Pretty cool. So then the last thing I'll do is I'll stay on the Hall, but I'll make it a little bit more of a lush, omnipresent type of thing like this. So you can hear what that sounds like with kind of like a ballad. More Chase Jackson, please. That was cool. All right, so the Digitech Polara, a really, really wonderful reverb pedal. Simple, easy to use, easy to understand unless you have to actually read the face of it. I think that there are very few pedals that are as good for just kind of like a set it and forget it reverb as the Polara. It has stereo in and stereo out. It has a tail setting so that you can leave it so that when you turn the pedal off, the tails will not stop and won't abruptly cut off your decay. And it has just 7 really great sounding reverbs. Digitech Polara, super special, really great pedal. Check it out.